Aloha, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our wonderful Church College of Hawaii, BYU Hawaii Alumni Podcast on this beautiful Aloha Friday from Laie, Hawaii. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. So good to have you all. We have a couple of great guests today that you'll be able to hear from in a minute. But before we do that, I have a few announcements and some things to go over. Just a reminder for those of you alumni that are out there and friends of alumni, as well as our current students, if you haven't updated your profile, your alumni profile or your student profile, please go into Ohana Network to be able to do that. And that's ohana.byuh.edu. So please go ahead and do that. Create your new profile or update your information that's in there. And that way you can keep in touch with our newsletter that we send out every month. Information such as our podcast, see who's coming up the following weeks and months, as well as upcoming events such as alumni gatherings and so forth, and other information. So speaking of alumni gathering, we'll be up in Utah in September 18th. We will have a alumni gathering up there. We'll be sending out information here within the next few days in regards to how to register for the alumni gathering in Utah and some of the things that we'll be doing and discussing and be able to talk about while we're there in Utah. Also in November, we will also have a alumni event for our Hawaii chapter, and that is in November 12th to the 14th. The registration information is already up online in Ohana Network and Facebook, so you'll be able to see that and register for those of you that are in our Hawaii area chapter. So we encourage you to do that. So go into our alumni Facebook for the Hawaii chapter and register, as well as Ohana Network. Okay. So with that said, I'd like to welcome our special guests that are joining us today. And we'd like to welcome brother and sister Hiagi and Susan Wesley. Aloha, Hiagi and Susan. How are you today?
Great, aloha.
Aloha, and good to see you.
I gotta tell you, we really miss you too here at BYU Hawaii campus. I know since Hiagi retired and Susan moved on with him and your family to Utah, we miss you guys here in the community and of course in the university. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Hiagi when I first came back to Hawaii and went on to the to his office. We chatted a little bit about recruitment in the Pacific, and then also found out he plays tennis. This guy has a wicked serve, and we had so much fun playing tennis. And the thing about Hiagi is that he has such a good serve, and then he smiles after he hits it because he knows that some of us can't get it back. So I learned really quickly how talented this guy is, not only in the work that he does, but also in sports and other things that have passed on to their children. So good to have both of you and Susan for the work that you've done in academic advising and so forth. So
Thank you.
to get things started, our audience want to get to know who you are a little bit. So I'm going to give you a few minutes for you to take and introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and whatever else you want to share. And I'm sure that we'll get to know you more as we go through our podcast today. So I'll send it off to both of you.
Okay, go ahead, Susan.
No, you go ahead. So, my name is Susan Wesley. I grew up in La Grande, Oregon, in a very small community. I think the town of Cove had a population at the time of 360 people. So my school that I went to was first grade through 12, all in one building, very, very small school. Finished school a little early, went to BYU Provo. I studied elementary education there, and after about a year and a half or 2 years, I transferred to BYU Hawaii. And that was the time that I did my student teaching in Laie, and I loved that experience. I had the most incredible teacher to mentor me, and that was Vicky Mo'o. Became very close to her family. The problem with BYU Hawaii is that I could not graduate. I needed one class, half-credit class, in order to graduate. So I had to transfer back to Provo to get that class. And I did that in 1977. In December of 77, it was a week before graduation, and that's when I met my husband. We were at a luau to farewell those who were graduating, and I was surprised that he was graduating with a master's degree. And so after meeting him and dating for 1 week, he asked me to marry him, which first of all, I said, oh, how can I marry you? You're leaving for Fiji, and I'm supposed to be going to Samoa to teach school. And he said, well, I can give you a better deal in Fiji. So less than a month from the day we met, we were married in the Salt Lake Temple, and then straight off to Fiji, where he was an assistant principal and then the principal of the LDS Technical College. I taught elementary school or primary school there, and we were in Fiji for 7.5 years. After that, we moved back to Utah so that Hiagi could get his doctorate degree, and stayed in Utah for a few years before moving to Guam. Had a great time in Guam, and then back to Utah, and finally to Hawaii. I'll let Hiagi tell you his part of the story.
And aloha, everyone. I'm Hiagi Wesley, and I'm from Island. And that is part of the Fiji group. And I finished elementary at my island, grades 1 to 8. We call it class 1 to 8. And then I came to Fiji, and then while in Fiji, attending high school there, I came in contact with the church. And when I joined the church, the best thing for me to do is to go to Leahona High School. And so I went to Leahona High School, graduated, and then served my mission in Fiji. And then Church College of Hawaii, going to a church school that in itself is very special from the perspective that, special experience that I would get by being at Church College of Hawaii. But that's my background. I am from Rotuma, and from then onwards, in a wonderful journey in terms of my profession.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, Hiagi. That's a wonderful beginning to our podcast today. So, when we asked you what the theme for your podcast today, you didn't hesitate to mention on this first slide that we're going to bring up. You talk about the Aloha spirit, right? And the experience that you have gained here. So on this PowerPoint slide that we put together, in this first slide, we show a picture of you and of you two together. Why was that important to you? And looking back, now that you have retired, Hiagi and Susan, you're moving on with your family in Utah, you mentioned a couple of days ago on a couple of things that really stood out to you and contributed to both of you in your career, with your family, in church, and other experiences that you have. So can you talk a little bit more about why you chose this theme, the Aloha Experience?
I think when we look at Church College of Hawaii, BYU Hawaii, it is a very, very special place. And going to school there is a privilege. It is an experience in itself with regards to, when we talk about the Aloha Experience, we're thinking in terms of the temple, the house of the Lord, central as part of being there at Church College of Hawaii. And that's where you get your spiritual learning. Mm-hmm. And then the academic experience, attending classes, expanding your knowledge, skills, and understanding. That prepares you in terms of the professional work. And then the Polynesian Cultural Center, that in itself, the culture, the validation, and the fun of being, part of the Polynesian Cultural Center. And so that in itself is very unique. BYU Hawaii, you can, get that type of experience where the spirit of aloha is part of it. And in that setting, you develop spiritually, you develop mentally in terms of the academic learning, and then the social interaction, the culture that, that is demonstrated at the Polynesian Cultural Center. And so, yeah, we call it the Aloha Experience. It's definitely a very, very fun place to be there. It's also, you develop in every aspect of, in terms of the three things that I've talked about. And so any student who has the opportunity to attend BYU Hawaii, that in itself is very special. And so I myself attended as a student, then also taught for the last 15 years. It's been wonderful. It is a great place. And there are other benefits that are part of it.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Susan, I'm sure before you came to Hawaii, you've heard about this Aloha spirit or experience. What was that like for you when you came to Hawaii for the first time?
It was a little overwhelming. I was just kind of enthralled with the Aloha Experience and having roommates from all over the world. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, the Holiday 5 was set up so that we had 8 little cubicles all in one room with a little curtain that you'd pull if you wanted to, but nobody ever really pulled their curtain. We were just always, all of us together. And the crazy thing is you'd have these 8 girls and the 8 girls on the other side, so 16 of us that all shared a bathroom. So you had almost like 16 roommates that you saw every single day. And it was just fun, going down to the elementary school and doing my student teaching there was a really great experience. I love those kids. And like I said, a wonderful mentor that I learned a lot from. And just getting involved, working at the Polynesian Cultural Center too was really awesome. I loved it.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. So for those of you that are joining us, we have Hiagi and Susan Wesley joining us on our podcast today. If you have any comments or chats that you want to share, they'll be able to see that. Please feel free to share that with us. And we're going to select a few towards the end to get some comments from Hiagi and Susan as well. But we have some awesome pictures that Susan and Hiagi sent to us that we want to go through. So if we can go to that and turn the time over to Hiagi to show who's this handsome-looking guy here back in good old PCC days. Can you talk about this picture and where were you at the time?
Yes, that's my, I was a freshman. That's when I was a new student at Church College of Hawaii. And that's a good picture. I was the freshman class president. We do have student government, and freshman students have that opportunity. And so there were 5 other students in the group. We provided activities, tried to mentor students, new freshmen. And so, that's my picture. And then the other picture that you can see, I worked at the Polynesian Cultural Center as a tour guide. Oh, okay. And in that picture, it was May Day celebration. I was with the Hawaiian Village. I was a kahili bearer for the royal court. And so, as I worked at the Polynesian Cultural Center, as a tour guide, we would talk to the visitors, to the tourists, and we'll tell them basically, I would say, I was here to to get an education and to go back and serve my people. And so that's the intent. But that was fun for me in terms of working and earning my way, paying for my education. And so that is definitely a positive thing for many of us who didn't have the means to support ourselves. And so, yeah, that's PCC and a student at Church College of Hawaii.
Nice. That's beautiful. Now, Hiagi, before you came to Church College of Hawaii those days, was it because a relative or friends, or how did you hear about Church College before then, and how did you decide to come to school?
I joined the church in Fiji, and as I mentioned earlier, things were not going very well when I became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was 16 years old, finishing 10th grade, and so my sister helped set it up, and I attended Leahona High School in Tonga for 2 years. And that was a very special place for me, learning the gospel, growing and developing, and graduating at the, when I finished the 12th grade. Yeah, that's, and so the next best thing for me to do is to go to the university, and Church College of Hawaii. I've seen one or two Tongan teachers returning, or Tongan individuals coming back after graduating from CCH. And so, yeah, I was excited. And so when I had the opportunity to go to school, attending BYU Hawaii really looked good. And especially, the idea of, oh, you're going to Hawaii. Wow, that is special. And so that's how I ended up at Church College of Hawaii. And as I mentioned, the setup where, a lot of things happen in terms of going to the temple, that spiritual aspect of development, and then taking classes, and then also working at PCC as a tour guide and dancing in the night show. And so those were fun things, great things happening on campus.
That's wonderful. It seems like your journey.
That's how I ended up in Hawaii.
That's great. It seems like your journey took you from like Rotuma on over to Tonga, and you converted in the gospel, and it just blessings that came along the way and got you here to Church College of Hawaii and started your educational journey. So that's wonderful. So we're going to go back to the slideshow here. I'm going to give time to Susan to tell us a little bit about this beautiful picture and this handsome-looking guy with the mustache here standing next to you.
Yes, and I had the opportunity to go for my master's degree in education administration, and so after being back from Brigham Young University in Provo, going back to Fiji after my bachelor's degree, I returned to BYU Provo, and I was finishing my master's degree in education administration. And I was, let's say I was looking for a wife. And so I have been back and forth between the Pacific and the mainland United States. And so while in Fiji, there were not many girls who were, the membership of the church was small in Fiji. And so I was dating girls from the Methodist church, but they were having some of the activities at the nightclubs. And so it was definitely not a good place to look for a wife to take to the temple. And so I was finishing my master's degree at Brigham Young University, Provo. And as Susan mentioned earlier, that's when we met. And it was a fast whirlwind type of dating, because after 1 week, that's when I proposed to her. And I wasn't sure if she was going to say yes, but she said yes.
Oh,
And within a month, we were married. And so that's a picture of our marriage. That's the second reception we had at Le Grand, Oregon. We did have a Pacific or Polynesian luau in Provo when we had our first reception with the Polynesian Club students, taking care of the reception and the luau. So that's our marriage.
well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Anything you want to add, Susan, to that?
Well, like I said, it happened really fast, and there was no looking back. It was before I knew it, a month after he had proposed, I found myself in Fiji. And so it was really an adventure.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. Okay, on our next slide, let's see what other pictures that we have. Okay, so wow, what a wonderful picture of your family in those early days and some of the things that you where you were living. I think one of the things that I noticed about your family is you folks moved quite a bit all over the place. And after we had talked a couple of days ago and looked at my notes, it was incredible how not only Hiagi and Susan was able to gain their educational experience, but also live it. They applied a lot of their academic learning to the experience they gained in Fiji, in Guam, here in Hawaii, and many other places that they've attended and raised their family. So, Susan, can you kind of talk us through these pictures a little bit?
Sure. So this first picture is in Fiji, 1983. That was just before we had our fourth child. So the three boys were born in Fiji. And Hiagi was principal of the LDS Technical College. I was teaching at the primary school. And then we had a plan that he really wanted to get his doctorate degree and return to Provo. But we thought before that, we wanted to visit Tonga, go back to Tonga, and also attend the temple. So we'd been collecting family names, and we wanted to take those names to the temple. So here it was. I was 7 months pregnant, and we got his brother to come from Rotuma to take care of our three boys. The problem was he didn't speak English, and our boys didn't speak Rotuman. So it was a little bit worrisome, but nevertheless, we took off to Tonga, and we were there for 1 week. Trying to get these 13 names cleared to do the temple work. And it took us the whole week to get these names cleared. We weren't actually able to do any work for the family names in Tonga, but we got them all cleared. And we had back in the day, they only had one name. And it was estimated dates. And a lot of the wives were Mrs. Makahune or whoever. So we did move on then to Samoa. We flew to Samoa to visit family there. And at that time, we were able to go to the temple and get all of the work done for those relatives. However, while in Samoa, we had our fourth son that was born unexpectedly. So that was a real blessing that everything worked out and that we were able to actually get a birth certificate within less than 24 hours. He was born on a Saturday, and we had to fly back to Fiji on a Sunday right before Christmas. And normally it took 2 months to get a birth certificate, but it all worked out. We came home with this little baby, and the kid said, "Oh, so you go to the temple to get a baby?" And that was our Christmas gift, our fourth son.
Well, that's wonderful. So, thank you for sharing that.
The other picture.
So fast forward to 1994. Actually, 1990, we moved to Guam. Hiagi had always wanted to get a job at a university as a professor. And we thought things would work out in Hawaii, but they didn't. So all of a sudden he tells me, "Oh, I've applied for a position at the University of Guam." And I said to him, "Why on earth would we want to move to Guam? We don't know anyone in Guam. I haven't heard anything at all good about Guam. And he said, well, it's warm. You wanted to go somewhere warm and get out of the cold Utah winters. So at this time, when we moved to Guam, I was pregnant with our 7th child. We had 6 boys, and our daughter was born in Guam a couple months after we moved there in 1990. And so we were there for about 5.5 years. And in this picture, you can see our daughter's the youngest, and you see the 6 older boys.
Wow.
See something about
Yeah,
that.
so basically, 4 were born, 3 were born in Fiji, and 1 in American Samoa in Pango. And then 2 were in Utah, and our daughter, Tiale, she's Tiale Ariana Scanlon. She's our only daughter, and she was born in Guam during the typhoon period, several typhoons that were hitting Guam.
Wow.
That's the family. And so that we took a family picture there close to the governor's house in Guam.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What a beautiful family you folks have. That's 1994. And, in a few slides here, we're going to see a more updated picture of your family. And what a beautiful bunch of children, boys, and your daughter. So, one of the things that I noticed through your experience, your children must have had a lot of fun growing up in all these different locations in Fiji, in Samoa, in Guam, in Utah. What a wide variety of experiences that they have remembered through the years. I think one of the things that you pointed out too, as a reminder for us as members of the church, those days you had to travel quite a distance to go to the temple, like the sacrifice you folks made for a week to go and take care of your family names. But now we are so blessed to be able to have temples in almost a lot of the locations that's close to us. You guys are in Utah. I mean, you probably look out the window and be able to see a temple that might be close to you. So we're so blessed to be able to have the temple close to us and be able to participate in those ordinances. Okay, so going back to our slides, I think we have a huge family photo here that we show of your family. And would one of you kind of explain a little bit who's getting married here and what year?
Okay, that was 2012, and our son Ty, who's number 5, got married. And this happened in Logan, Utah. His wife, China Smith, they dated while he was a professional basketball player in Holland, and she was a professional dancer. Okay. And they had met just randomly through friends. And when he came home for Christmas, for a very short time, they got together, went on a few dates. She visited him in Holland, and he proposed in a tulip field, and they got married. So we had a little luau there in Logan. And yeah, that was our family picture back in 2012.
Wow, that's beautiful. So 7 children, 6 boys, 1 girl, right?
Yes.
And how many grandchildren that you have up to this point?
Today we have 22.
22. Wow.
Yeah, so we're missing several from that picture.
What a blessing. Wow, look at that beautiful picture of all the family members. That's so nice. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, what do we got on the next slide here? Let's see. Okay, so it looks like an activity. Is this some kind of vacation or something where you folks were at?
That was the last family reunion that we were able to do with everyone except for our oldest grandson, who was on a mission. He was serving in Barbados at the time. Okay. And we went on a cruise and got together and took a family picture.
Oh, so this was on a cruise ship?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what year was this again? I'm sorry.
That was actually in 2000. I want to say 2019.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. So looking through all these years, the growth of your family, your children, your grandchildren, and all the while you guys were working. You guys were in the higher education, and doing, college work, university work, and all of those. A couple of days ago, we talked about the various responsibilities you had, Hyungi, from the high school level to the university level. As we have in our area working with students to come to BYU Hawaii or just simply to go to college, you had offered some really nice advice in regards to, looking at opportunities to be able to continue your education and encourage folks to move on from high school and to get that college experience. Can you share with some of our prospective students or our
Yeah,
alumni to be able
thank
to
you.
share some of those thoughts?
Yes, and I've always looked at Church College of Hawaii as the where it all began, where I started my educational journey, and at the university at Church College of Hawaii, that's where I took the basic, general education classes, trying to determine what kind of major I want to focus on. I know at one time I wanted to be a doctor, but I don't like the sight of blood, so I figured out no, it won't do me any good. And then I was going to be a pilot. I did take a you know ground school class, and this is when I was attending Ricks College. I do want to mention that I finished from I left Church College of Hawaii and attended Ricks College, then Brigham Young University in Provo. That's where I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I was going into geography to teach. I had a teacher at Ricks College that was very good to me. He was very special in terms of how he interacted, and I liked his way of teaching. And so I I had interest in teaching, and so I was going to be a teacher. And so when I graduated from Brigham Young University in Provo with a bachelor's degree in geography, but I also took communication. I was doing news writing. I was a newspaper reporter because the first job that I received or I took on in Fiji was to be a newspaper reporter. I didn't last very long in that position because I had talent in teaching. I thought that I was a good teacher. I like to teach, and so that's why I pursued education. So when I went back to Provo to receive a master's degree, that was in education administration. And so when I finished that degree, I returned to Fiji and became an assistant principal, then the principal of the Fiji LDS Technical College. And then when the opportunity presented itself to pursue a doctorate degree, I went to school, I returned to school, finished my doctorate degree, and that's when I started to work in school administration in the Granite School District in Salt Lake City, West Valley. I was an assistant principal at Westlake Junior High. And after that, that's when we left for the University of Guam. And I became an assistant professor at the University of Guam, and I enjoyed that experience very much.
Wow.
We returned to Utah, and I became a principal, elementary principal at the Salt Lake City School District, Glendale area. And in that area, 70% of the students in my school, in that elementary, ethnic minorities, so many Tongans and Samoans. And I was right there. I enjoyed that. But then when I finished, I worked in the Granite School District as a district administrator. And also, I was as a district administrator, and then I also taught at Utah Valley Community College. It's now Utah Valley State University. Utah Valley University.
Yes.
And then the last assignment I had was to transfer to BYU Hawaii through the School of Education. That's where I started. And then when William Wallace, Bill Wallace, that special man, in terms of
Yeah.
his part with the Yosepa canoe, when he passed away, I was asked to move over to the Hawaiian and Pacific Island Studies to work at the Napela Center. And I was involved with the Yosepa canoe as well as special programs. And that's where I finished my career after 15 years at
Wow.
Victor Narsimulu or Victor Narsimulu.
at that at BYU Hawaii. So anyway, that's my professional experience. I've had many years in education. I've enjoyed the last 15 years interacting with students from all over the world and teaching Pacific Island Studies as part of the curriculum and working with many students from the Pacific. So that in itself was very special. I had a wonderful time, and it's something that I'm already missing it, realizing that
Well,
I will
Hiagi,
not be teaching before.
you have done so much for the community here in the university, especially the Pacific Island students. So we're going to take a little pause here because this is a great segue. We're going to bring in a guest for you, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Aloha.
Aloha, mana.
Hi.
Hello.
So I'll give you some time, mana. Go ahead and introduce yourself and talk to brother and sister Wesley here.
Okay, mahalo. Hi, brother and sister Wesley. My name is Mana Borden. I'm currently a student in the Hawaiian Studies studying at BYUH right now. And I was asked today to share an oli mahalo with you for all the time that you spent working with the Hawaiian Studies Department, with the students in that department, as well as the students that you've seen to impact throughout all of your years. So I have my sisters with me in the background to do this oli, and my nephews. Uhola ia ka makaloala, Kuai ke aloha la, Kukai ia ka haloala, Pawehi mai nā lehua, Mai ka ho'oku ia ka halawaila, Mahalo e ke akua. Mahalo e nā pupuna laʻea, Mahalo me ke aloha la, Mahalo me ke aloha la.
Oh,
Mahalo.
mahalo nui loa, mana. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's special.
Mahalo. Mahalo, mana. Thank you so much for your time and to your family there for sharing your aloha.
Special tribute, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Aloha. You two have connected, interacted, taught, mentored, guided many, many students through your career all over the Pacific, Utah, and many other places that we don't have the time for in this podcast to go over. So Mana and many, many others, I think it kind of shares their love and great appreciation for your contribution in their lives, in their journey as they came through BYU Hawaii and other schools that you have taught and directed at. So we're grateful for that. We're going to go back to our slides here and show another photo of you folks in the temple. So can you guys explain where this temple is and at this time in your family?
We had actually escorted a group of students to Fiji to do a career exploration type trip. Well, Hiagi had escorted them. I just sort of tagged along. And we were able to attend the Suva Fiji Temple, which is such a blessing to the island nation of Fiji. we were able to introduce the students from BYU Hawaii to different possible internship providers and future employment providers. And so that was a great blessing for us to attend the temple and be with the students in Fiji at that time.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's a beautiful place. I've had the pleasure to be there on those grounds, and what a wonderful temple and beautiful area that temple is in Suva. Okay, on our next photo here, let's see what we got. Okay. All right, since we have you two in there, anybody want to talk about this? Youngie, maybe?
So our two youngest children actually attended BYU Hawaii and graduated together the same year, even though
Wow.
Kili is older, 2 years older, and started, obviously before his sister. He went on a mission, and when he returned, then they both were together as students and ended up graduating in the very same semester.
Yeah, and Tiale went to Kahuku High School, graduated there, and then attended Brigham Young University of Hawaii. And so we were very excited. And that's their graduation photo. So they are BYU Hawaii alumni. And of course, Tiale is teaching accounting in the accounting department.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And then the other pictures, McKelly played for BYU Provo
This is for basketball.
basketball, and he was very famous at the time when he was playing. And then he ended up in Europe playing professional. And then we have Ty, played for Utah State, and he ended up playing professional basketball in Europe. Then he was in Australia and New Zealand playing professionally. Then Russell, he is part of the trio that played for Guam, since they lived in Guam and they qualified to play for the country. And so they were playing in the South Pacific Games, Wow. And so that's in the family where there are boys who are very talented in basketball. And they're very tall too. McKelly is 6'9", Ty is 6'7", Russell is 6'6", something like that. And then the bottom picture.
The bottom picture is when we were in Samoa for the Pacific Games, and the three boys were all playing for Team Guam and won the gold medal. And so that was a special experience for us to be able to accompany them to Samoa, because my husband's oldest sister lives there, and his father is family all came from Samoa.
So that was very awkward when our Samoan relatives our boys were, one of our relatives said, your team with the Wesley boys pulverized our Samoan nephews and cousins who were in the Samoan teams, both American Samoa and Western Samoa up here. So anyway, those are family photos of the kids, sibling, or the siblings that were the children that we have.
Wow. Well, it's wonderful to see the progress and the growth within your family, your boys and your daughter, and now all your grandchildren coming through as well. One of the things that we talked about a couple of days, the importance of education. What advice would you provide, as we know that parents has a big role playing in making sure that our students move on to education opportunities such as those? What are some of the advice that you would be giving to our alumni as they are working with their young families, maybe as their kids are going through school, and how important that is?
My advice would be just to spend time with your children, to read to them, to read with them, to take them to the library. This summer we've had a summer library program going on, and I've been taking the grandkids every week to get books and then trying to keep track of them. The library said, you can check out up to 99 books. It's like, okay, I got to keep track of all these books and learning games and activities. So that's something that we do a lot of, try to get away from screen time and do more reading and physical activity. I think being involved with your students' studies at whatever level they are in is really awesome, and giving them encouragement.
As an advice.
That's wonderful. Go ahead.
That's
Yeah, and Susan was an advisor
Yes.
at BYU Hawaii, and so many students gravitated to her to be helped, and to be guided. And so I think that is a wonderful thing. But basically, students need guidance and directions, and then someone to support them.
Okay.
For the advice that I would give students, I think education education opens opportunities, and the greater the education, the more prepared you are, the more opportunities are given, are offered to you. And so I would hope students who plan to come to BYU Hawaii take education seriously, because it is a privilege and an opportunity to grow and develop. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I started at Church College of Hawaii, but I did not stop there. I went on and I got my master's degree and my doctorate degree when the opportunities presented. And so definitely education is the ladder to success. It is a way of opening opportunities, and it's very much related to and I want to tie in with the mission of BYU Hawaii, that in that setting, BYU Hawaii, we're preparing students to go back and to build their communities, to build their families, to build the kingdom, and also to bless their lives. And so the greater the education, the better off you are, because you will have opportunities to expand and grow and develop.
Thank you so much for your advice. That's very true. I know when we talked prior to the podcast today, there are some things that students can do to prepare themselves as they transition to BYU Hawaii, like being fluent in English, whether it's speaking, writing, comprehension, and so forth, as well as subjects. So you're very right about making sure that they prepare and be able to be ready by the time that they are accepted and admitted to BYU Hawaii and come and enjoy their experience here. In the last photo here, we're going to see is an updated photo of your family. I take it this is kind of recent years. Is that correct?
It was in 2018. So just all of our grown children there.
And is this in Utah or?
That was taken when we were on a trip in California. So you can see Young and I are dwarfed by our giant boys.
Wow. There's this beautiful picture of all your children. So as you look back at your career, Hyungi and Susan, and look back at the road and paths that you've taken, all the countries that you've been in, as we work with our students from the Pacific, what kind of advice would you have for them, those coming out of Rotuma or Tonga or Samoa or Guam that are interested in BYU Hawaii? What are some of the things that they and their families should help them prepare, not only academically, but spiritually, to partake of the opportunities here at BYU Hawaii?
Go ahead.
I think spiritually, definitely attending church and doing seminary, institute, fulfilling callings, giving service is a very important thing. I would say academically, having great reading and comprehension skills, trying to learn and speak English. I would say socializing with others and trying to meet people outside of your normal comfort zone,
Mhm.
and saving money, planning, organizing your time, planning very carefully your schedule every day, so that when you arrive at the university, everything isn't so overwhelming and you have already established good habits of study and prayer.
Wonderful.
And, as I mentioned, attending the university is not easy. It's challenging. But
Yes.
that's the place where you learn how to study, you learn how to, many skills that will help you in terms of managing your time. I'm saying this because, Brigham Young University, Hawaii, when students get there, they have to attend school, attend classes, um, as well as work. And so there are so many things that they have to learn. In terms of advice for students, they got to study hard. They got to apply themselves. They got to um, focus, stay focused. And I know there are many challenges faced by our students, but they have to um, realize that education is important. So don't um, miss the opportunities to study and learn and grow. So be serious about getting an education.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you so much, Hyungi and Susan. Now, in regards, just one more last questions. In regards to our alumni, how can they help with students that might be interested in coming, and those students that are returning home? How can they contribute to enriching the journey of our BYU Hawaii students?
For students, for alumni with resources, they can give a lot of money to church to BYU Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think that's an important part, and we're having alumni who are doing very well in terms of their professional or their work, and so they can contribute. There are other ways that alumni could help, and they could the students who are coming back to the country, to their own countries, alumni could work with them in terms of finding jobs, um, providing support, guiding, and helping them. Alumni is a vital part of the whole formula because they do provide connection. So between students graduating, returning home, employment, support, guidance, direction, mentoring, and so alumni can do a lot to help our graduates, those who are returning home, and they will help contribute to the overall fulfillment of the mission of BYU Hawaii. I can't beat that laboratory of different people from different races from all over the world in one place. That in itself is wonderful. And so, in terms of fulfilling the mission of the university, having peace, creating peace, or establishing peace
Yeah.
internationally, the alumni is part of that formula.
It's part of that mission. Yes. Thank you so much. Well, before we take, I just want to take a few minutes to maybe look at a couple comments that we may have. So if we can pull a couple of those up, and while we're looking for those, I just want to take a minute to thank you both for your time and for the examples that you have set for the rest of us that are working here at BYU Hawaii, that have gone here to school, the examples that you get provided to us academically, spiritually, and other things that you've done here at the university. We're so grateful to the Wesleys and their children and their families, and the great contributions that you have made to BYU Hawaii and Church College of Hawaii. So I want to take a couple comments. I think we saw some over here. This is from Lorene Nunu. What are some experiences you had with your children here at BYU Hawaii that will have lasting memories with you?
With our students who were like children to us. I think being able to visit a few of them in their home countries was really a highlight for us. We had a chance to visit a student in Germany when we were there for a basketball tournament. We've gone to Mexico City. I've flown out to Orlando when I had a student doing an internship and her parents couldn't come to her wedding. She got married there. And I was mom to both the husband and wife. Just
I can't think of.
Okay, that's okay. So we have here it's Tui Felunga Anna. Susan, it says was my counselor, always kind and helpful. I'm Anna Palu from Tonga. I remember years back when I wanted a copy of my transcript for post-grad application, and as I contacted her regarding my transcript. She told me she'll pay for the $5 fee. I was touched by her kindness. It meant a lot to me, and now I'm finishing my master's at the University of the Pacific. But I will always remember Susan and her kindness.
Congratulations, Anna. What an awesome student. I remember you, and I'm so glad that you're getting your master's degree. That's incredible.
Wow,
Proud of you.
What a wonderful. You see the effect that you two have on all these students and their journey as they continue on to school, like Hiagi said. Are there a couple more that we can look at? Let's see. Christina Forrester. Aloha, brother, sister Wesley. Love you both and so grateful for all you've done for us students.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Take care. We're proud of you. Love you.
All right. We got one more. Samuel Nofua Ngatotoa Asuao. Brother Wesley, you and Sister Wesley haven't aged one bit. I concur with that. Yes.
We try to eat Samoan food, palasami and that in order to.
Well, it doesn't help for some of us, but yeah, congratulations on that. Okay, let's see. This is Gideon from Kiribati. Brother and Sister Wesley saying hello to you folks.
Hi, Gideon.
Keep up the good work, Gideon.
We're going to say Bula Vinaka, but I think we also have to say, Maori.
Maori, yeah. And Lorleen again saying good looking couple, although Susan looks very younger than Yangi.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, we'll take that offline. You guys can take that with Lorleen. And then Tyrone Brown. No wonder he always teases Tongans. Didn't know you were a Leahona graduate, Dr. Wesley. So
yeah, I've always said that I'm part Tongan, I've tried everything. Everything is good except I try to stay away from Lou Horsey,
Okay. Vakkava Bula, brother and sister Wesley.
Bula Vinaka. How are you?
Okay, is that it? Oh, we got Elise. Elise Lesuma Mitchell. Awesome couple. Mahalo for sharing your love with the university and students. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These are just a few of the thousands, I'm sure, that you have worked with in your years past, and now that you've done your career and enjoying the time with your children and grandchildren, your legacy lives on as you help these students and continue applying what you folks have taught them. So I want to say, behalf of our CCH and BYU Hawaii alumni, I want to thank you again, Hiagi and Susan Wesley, for all of you have done, and I appreciate your time for joining with us today doing our alumni podcast. So I'm going to have you guys just hold on for a little bit. And is there any last advice you want to share before we end our podcast today?
Thank you so much, Ed, and your staff and your group for letting us be part of it. We've enjoyed it, and basically we love students and will miss Brigham Young University of Hawaii. It's a special experience being on that campus and watching the students develop, young men and women grow in many ways. And so, what a special experience for us. We have been blessed, and we want the students to be successful and go forward and live life to the fullest. Again, mahalo nui loa. Thank you, BYU Hawaii.
We love you all.
Thank you again so very much. You guys keep ruining my makeup, but that's okay.
Yeah, and aloha to everyone. Aloha nui loa.
Thank you again.
Level.
Thank you both again for your time. So hold on just a second while I finish things off. Thank you again for our guests today, Hiagi and Susan Wesley, for their time, to them and their family, their children, grandchildren, and all the great things that they have done and left for us. So just a way of reminder to our alumni, please go into our HANA Network website, ohana.byuh.edu. Update or create your profile so that way we can stay in touch and be able to receive information through our newsletter, events that are coming up. Again, upcoming events for our alumni, we have in Utah in September 18th. We'll have an alumni gathering there. And then we also have a Hawaii alumni chapter in November 12th to the 14th for our alumni folks here, our Church College and BYU alumni for both in Utah and Hawaii. So thank you again very much. If you have any questions, you want to get involved with the chapter or any questions or advice that you want to share with us for the podcast, you can go to alumni@byuh.edu and send us an email. Be more than happy to hear from you and provide guidance towards our podcast that would be useful for all of us. So thank you all again very much. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend and aloha.